There is a very famous quote that corruption is just like a ball of snow. When it starts rolling, it must increases. And in order to measure the index of this corruption all over the world, every year the corruption perception index is being released. And my dear learners, in the today's session we are going to discuss this corruption perception index, and I want to add here that this particular index is important for the RBI SEBI NABARD as well as other government examinations in which the current affairs is being asked. So let's begin the session. Let's get started. So whenever we cover any report or index, we always tell you that you are required to cover the very first thing, that is the releasing body for that index or the report. So when we talk about the releasing body for the corruption perception index, then it is being released every year by a German organization, that is the Transparency International. So this organization ranks 180 countries. Okay, it ranks 180 countries and the territories by the perceived levels of the public sector corruption. So when we talk about this particular index, it uses a scale and it ranks the countries on the basis of the scores, and these scores are from 0 to 100, where 100 means country is very clean, while 0 means the country is highly corrupt. Okay, so here you can see the scale as well, that where 0 means it is highly corrupt and the 100 means it is very clean. So when we talk about the key rankings from this particular index, so the very first thing that you are required to remember is what exactly is a top performing nation. So in this particular index, the top performing nation are the Denmark, Finland and New Zealand, which have been ranked first with a score of 88, followed by Norway on the 4th rank and Singapore once again on the 4th position with a score of 85. So apart from that, you are also required to remember that what exactly are the worst performing nations. So when we talk about the worst performing nation in this corruption perception index 2021, here the worst performing countries are the South Sudan, which has been ranked 180, that is at the bottom of the list with a score of 11, and here are some other bottom 5 countries which have been named. See, whenever you are covering any rankings, the most important part from there is what exactly is the India's rank. And when we talk about India's rank in this index, then India has been ranked 85th out of 180 countries with a score of 40. And when we talk about that what exactly was the global average score all over the world in this corruption perception index, then my dear learners, it was just 43. So I hope that this particular part is very much clear. What is India's rank? It is 85th. Which are the top performing countries? These are the Denmark, Finland and New Zealand. And which is the worst performing country? It is South Sudan. So I hope that this is very much clear. Now let's move on to some key findings from this particular index. And this index says that all the regions of the globe are at a standstill when it comes to fighting public sector corruption. And apart from that, it also says that among those countries which are having a weak scores, they are majorly the world's most populous countries, such as China with a score of 45 and India having a score of 40 only. And now, apart from that, this particular report also says that the 2/3 of the countries have scored below 50. They have scored below 50 in this corruption perception index 2021, and the average score that I have already told you, which was 43 out of 100 all over the world. Now when we talk about the regions, then highest scoring region was the Western Europe and European Union, where the average score of the countries was 66. While we talk about the lowest scoring region, it was the Sub-Saharan Africa, which is having the score of 33 only out of 100. So I hope that this is very much clear to all of you. Now when we compare the performances of the countries all over the world in the past decade, then this particular report says that only 25 countries have improved their scores in the corruption perception index, while 23 countries, the score have been declined, and 131 countries have stayed the same in this particular index. So overall, the corruption perception index 2021 shows that the control of corruption has stagnated or worsened in 85% of the countries over the last decade, which shows that over the last decade, for 10 years now, the major countries across the world have paralyzed in their fight against this corruption. Now when we talk about the key findings from the India's point of view, then here you can see that India's rank have improved by 1 place, that it was 86 in 2020 and now it is 85 in year 2021. And the score of India we have already discussed, which was 40 out of 100, and now India's score has remained stagnant over the past decade, and some of the mechanisms that could help rein in corruption are weakening in India. Some other important findings from the India's point of view is that this report states that the journalists and activities are at risk. The journalists and the activists are particularly at risk, and they have been the victim of attacks from the major parties such as police, political militants, criminal gangs, and this has also led to this particular comment which has been mentioned here, that there are concerns over the country's democratic status due to these particular attacks on these people, and that really shows. And when this report discusses the India's case, it says that the case of India is particularly worrying. So this was another very important thing on which the Indian government is required to take some active actions. So I hope that this is very much clear to all of you. We have discussed what exactly was the releasing body. We have discussed that what are the key findings, what are the top performing nations, what were the bottom performing nations, and the most important, that is India's rank. So I hope that this is very much clear to all of you. And my dear learners, if you have still not subscribed to our YouTube channel, kindly subscribe it and press the bell icon to receive all the latest updates of the courses and videos offered by us. And you can also join our Telegram channel to get the access to the PDF of the sessions. To join the Telegram channel, kindly click on the link given in the description below. So now let's move on to the very first practice question, which is based on the Corruption Perception Index 2021, which has been launched recently. And on the basis of the today's discussion, here you are required to answer this question, which is demanding that which one of the following are the correct statements in relation with the Corruption Perception Index 2021. And the very first statement says that it was being launched by a German organization, that is Transparency International, which is correct. The second statement says that it ranks 280 countries and territories in their public sector corruption, and it uses a scale of 0 to 100, which is correct. But apart from that, it says that where 100 is highly corrupt and 0 is very clean. But as per our discussion, 100 means it is very clean and 0 means it is highly corrupt. So that means that the second statement is incorrect in relation with the Corruption Perception Index. Now when we talk about the third statement, it says that the average score of the countries all over the world in the Corruption Perception Index was 43, which is once again correct. So the right answer to this question will be option D, that is both statement 1 and 3 are correct. So now let's move on to the practice question 2. It says that which of the following countries have topped the Corruption Perception Index 2021? Options are Denmark, Finland, New Zealand, all of the above and none of the above. And as per our today's discussion, we have already seen that Denmark, Finland and New Zealand are the countries which were at the top of the Corruption Perception Index with a score of 88 each. So the right answer for the question will be option D, that is all of the above. Now when we talk about the googly question from today's session, then it is being based on the Green Energy Corridor Phase 2, which was being approved recently by the government. And in this particular question, once again you are required to identify the correct statement in relation with the Green Energy Corridor Phase 2. So do answer the question in the comment section below. And now when we talk about the homework question from the previous session, yesterday I have asked the question that what exactly is the theme of the International Customs Day 2022. So my dear learners, the right answer to this question was scaling up customs digital transformation by embracing a data culture and building a data ecosystem. So that was the right answer. And when we talk about the star performers, then the star performers from the previous session are Harsha Srivastav, Janni and Jamin Patel. So congrats to all of you, and if you also want your name to be mentioned here in the upcoming session, then kindly answer this homework question, in which the question is that you are required to identify the name of the person who has been recently appointed as India's new Chief Economic Advisor. So very important question from the exam point of view, and I am marking the star here because this appointment is really very important. Okay, so do answer the homework question in the comment section below. And there is a very important announcement for all of you that we are running a mega sale in which we are offering flat 50% off on our combo courses, and we are also providing 40% and additional 10% off on various single courses. If you want to purchase the combo courses, then kindly use the code combo, and if you want to purchase the single courses, then you can use the code single in order to avail the discounts. But please make sure that you are using these codes till 31st of January 2022 only, because these codes are only valid till 31st of Jan 2022. So my dear learners, that was all from the today's session. I hope that today's session was useful and fruitful to all of you. And if you have liked the session, then please give a thumbs up in the comment section below. And if you are having any queries, you can drop us a mail at hello@edutap.co.in, and you can also call us at 814-620-7241. So thank you for joining us. Wish you all happy learning.